All right, good day from wherever you're watching all around. So, welcome to day 10 of our 60 days mentorship with Ojo Ayokunle. So, today we're just going to be discussing a case study of different African brands, successful African brands. So, if you can hear me, just write in the comment section Africa. Yeah, if you can hear me, just write in the comment section Africa, right? Write in the comment section Africa. Very quickly. I'm waiting. Okay, so um, let's just proceed. All right, so today we're just going to be looking at different business models of successful African, startups. I basically chose three industries, so just to keep this video simple and not so much complicated. One is fashion, one is fintech, and the last one is agriculture. All right. So this is day 10, and I know my creatives and entrepreneurs, you're ready. So we're going to study successful business model, like I've mentioned, reverse engineer them, and then adapt them to your market. If you want to know what reverse engineering means when it comes to business, book a session. Okay, so let's start with fintech. One of Africa's business successful brands is Flutterwave, and I want us to understudy their success story. Flutterwave solved a very simple but powerful problem, making payments easy for businesses. It's as simple as that, but as powerful as it making them, you know, $1 million company. So from before, you know, fintechs, company like Flutterwave receiving payments across Africa was very, very complicated, and so there was no connecting platforms that could, engineer and enable. There's no enabling environment to receiving payments, from businesses in Africa. So what did Flutterwave do? They literally built a digital payment infrastructure that allows businesses accept payment from cards, bank transfers, mobile money across multiple countries. And these have made them valued at over $3 billion. I was conservative when I mentioned that they're a multi-million company. They are a $1 billion company. So they have been valued at over $3 billion. But the real lesson here is not the valuation. The real lesson here is solving expensive problems, right? If the problem is big enough, the market will wait for the solution. Now let's move to fashion. In the African fashion industry, it's exploding globally necessarily because there is more acceptance for the African culture. There's more acceptance for the African, you know, um, wears, African expression of fashion, right? So, and then an African leading industry, um, yeah, an African leading brand, right? Fashion brand that is Lisa Olawiyo Studio did something very strategic and captivating to the market. She took the Ankara fabric, transformed it into luxury fashion pieces that made them appeal to both African and international markets. And boom, they touched the gorgeous. Their designs have been worn by global celebrities featured in international fashion platforms. So what's her secret? See, she didn't just sell clothes; she sold African identity, culture, and premium craftsmanship. Right, that's the solution that is being brought to the table. All right, that is the solution that she is selling. All right, this is a very powerful business model and principle. You see, your brand becomes stronger when when it carries a story, not just a product. You can write that down. Your brand becomes stronger when it carries a story and not just a product. People buy stories. People don't just buy products, they buy the stories, they buy the experiences, that battered that product. So your brand will be much more powerful, and very, very exponential when it comes to income, when it carries a story and not just ordinarily a product. All right. So people don't only buy products, they buy identity, they buy culture, they buy status, they buy meaning, they buy craftsmanship, right? So now, thirdly, let's consider the agricultural sector as we close this video. All right, so the case study in this reference is Farm Crowdy. All right, Farm Crowdy is a platform that is built to connect investors with farmers. Hello, so if you're a farmer, you want to go into agriculture, and then you want to start planting any form of plant, or you want to do any form of livestock, right? You can get funding from investors, right, through farm crowding, right? So through this model, people can invest in agricultural projects while farmers get funding to scale production. All right, this is what we call platform innovation. So necessarily, it's a blend of agriculture and innovation. They didn't just farm, but they built a financial ecosystem around farming. You need to understand that any necessary industry or infrastructure that does not consider its financial ecosystem will soon go into extinction. All right. So the real lesson here is sometimes the most profitable business opportunity is not the product itself, right? It could be a system that connects the market. It could be market connectivity, all right? So let me quickly summarize to you the three powerful business lessons from these three startups. Number one, solve a big problem. That's what Flutterwave did. Number two, solve or turn culture into premium value. That is what Lisa Folawiyo did. And then number three, build systems, not just product. That is what Farm Crowdy did. And that's why this mentorship is very, very important, right? So we are not just teaching you how to start a business, we're teaching you how to build scale, profitable business models. Business ideas are everywhere, but profitable business models are rare. So your assignment for day 10 is simple, right? What problem does your business solve? You need to ask yourself that question. What problem does my business solve? What unique value or story that makes my brand different? All right. At times when I'm selling to a new client, or I'm trying to close a prospect, I'll tell you, let me give you um, one key reason why you need to listen to me. I have learned over 13 ways to do business. So I've learned over 13 ways not to fail in business. Why? Because I've run over 13 businesses that have failed. Right. So there's a story attached to that. And at that, sharing my failure portfolio, which I necessarily see as a life, school lesson, right? You as a life school fees rather, right? You have to pay school fees in life. You went to primary school, you pay school fees. You went to secondary, you went to high school, you pay school fees. You went, to tertiary institution, you paid school fees. But you are in life, you don't want to pay life school fees, right? So it is necessarily a life school fees for me to learn in the direction of businesses, how not to fail in business. So that story alone brings so much value from my business story alone. I can necessarily solve a problem that easily closes, the prospect. So the third question you need to ask yourself is, can this business become a system that serves people at a scale? Scalability is very, very important in business. You see, when investors are coming into your business, they want to know if your business can scale. All right, when you answer these three questions very clearly, you move from running a small hustle, or a side hustle into building a real business. And that's the goal of our 60 days business mentorship, to help you move from ideas to structure, and then from structures to profitability, and from profitability to scalability. So if today's has helped you in no small way in thinking different your business, make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification button. Share with another entrepreneur who needs clarity. All right, and I'll see you in the day 11 of the 60 days business mentorship with myself and Ojo Ayokunle. So just remember, in business, clarity creates confidence, and confidence will create your cash flow. See you in day 11. Thank you.